Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Year of the Demons, and this is actually going to be my final episode because, well, I finished all the demon movies. So, real quick, I'm not at my house, as you can tell from random dogs in the shot. I'm dog sitting while someone's on vacation, so you guys just have to watch these little piggies. Anyways, I'm all done with reviewing the demon movies, and I was going to just end it there after 12 reviews, but I decided to add one special review with a bunch of random grab bag stuff that I just wanted to talk about. So, even though this is a ranking of demons that I'll do at the end, there's some other stuff that I thought was kind of cool that I wanted to share with you guys. And first up, now these are the two Demons comic books that came in the Blu-ray release of Demons and Demons 2 overseas. It was kind of hard to track down and a little expensive, but I love Demons so much that it was worth it. These two comic books, if you remember from my Demons 2 review, they are kind of like the official Demons 3 that never came out. So we got 3 different Demon 3s that are all unofficial. This is the first official one. So the actual plot, kind of like what I talked before, was it was about Nostradamus, and it was kind of a prequel to what was going on with all of the demons and how they came to be. What we learn is that Nostradamus kind of had all these different predictions going on, kind of like what actually happened. And he saw all these different visions of possible futures, all of them that the demons keep invading and taking over. So they kill them or they take over in the future, and he just keeps seeing over and over again that no matter what different reality is happening, the demons invade, and he finds out they invade through him. Now also in the story you see this giant epic painting because it takes place in the 1500s. And that's kind of like their portal in. So in the first Demons, it goes through the movie. In the second Demons, it's a TV broadcast. In this one, it is... Oh, hi. Hi. Mwah. In this one, it's a giant oil painting. And it kind of happens like the other movies. They come in through the portal, and then they kind of take over, and carnage ensues. And it's kind of a cool because the twist ending, which if you don't want to understand it, don't keep listening to me for the next 30 seconds. You find out that the man in the mask from the original Demons is actually Nostradamus, and he's put into this purgatory where that mask is glued to his face, and he has to be this prophet that heralds the demons in all these different realities. So it's kind of interesting that they kind of use that man in the mask to tie Nostradamus into the whole Demon series at large. It's also a different style than what Demons and Demons 2 was, so if this was filmed as a movie, they would need to add a lot more to it than what's in these two comic books, but if it was filmed as a movie, I would definitely think it would be a nice addition, because it kind of takes it in a new direction and adds some connective tissue between them, because the Demons 1 and Demons 2 would have been just in two separate realities that the demons invaded. However, I still would have preferred a sequel to the original Demons that followed that storyline where it's about a bunch of demons taking over the world and in this post-apocalyptic world where anyone can become a demon. That would have been the better direction to go, but we got Demons 2, so this is the best way to follow up Demons 2, I believe. Along with all that, as you guys have already seen, I have a huge collection of Demons and Demons 2 Blu-Rays, first of which is what I used to watch for these reviews from Synapse Films. These are probably the most common and easy to find ones. They have great transfers on them. They really did their best with all the footage that they had available. Just sometimes the footage doesn't quite line up because they had to get it from a VHS transfer, and just the quality isn't up to snuff with the other ones. But honestly, I have no complaints. This is a great way to watch it, and it's a very cheap way to watch it if you don't have stuff like Shudder. I would say the only thing these really don't have going for it is that they don't really have any bonus features, just kind of like these bare bones editions with a lot of great transfers and maybe trailers, but there's really not much else besides that. Next up is what I've already showed you guys. It's Demons and Demons 2, and this came from, I believe I got this from a seller in the United Kingdom, so it's from Europe and Region 2. I love this so much because, one, I was able to get those comic books that I wanted to read so badly. And they also come with all these alternate covers. You can just keep turning them around. And they come with a really nice booklet in each that are just kind of like an essay on them. And then I will show you guys the posters that come with these. Here's the poster for Demons with a cool alternate art on the back. And here is Demons 2, which again has a lot of cool alternate art. Some of them are original posters, and other ones are from like different parts of the world. So it's really interesting to see what they got here. Oh, how you doing? You want up here too? You want up here too? Alright, I'll get you up here too. Mwah. So they also come with, again, booklets on the different making ofs, and once I put this dog down, I will show you the poster. Here is the poster included on the Demons 2 release in Region 2. They also have the alternate newly commissioned cover on the back. I really love these because I love when they recreate the original posters. Not a huge fan of when they put out new stuff. Like, I like that they're including stuff that looks like it could have been made from back then. However, you gotta like the old stuff. It's vintage. It looks really cool. And last but not least is the newest Demons release that I've got. It's Demons 1 and 2, also on a Synapse Film Blu-ray set. However, this is a special limited edition that just came out this year in 2021. In these, they have alternate covers on front and back of Demons 1 and 2, and then you can also get the normal newly commissioned artwork on the actual cover. I just switched my copy. And it comes with some goodies. Here is a recreation of the ticket in order to get into the theater in the first Demons. And here is the invitation to the party from the second Demons. And it also comes as a poster. This one is my favorite. Looks like it's newly commissioned, but it really kind of captures the aesthetic of the old Demon style posters. And it just looks awesome. So, also as all these releases, the ones from Region 2 have a lot of special features on it, and most of them are carried over to Demons and Demons 2. There's some overlap, and there's some new stuff, and it's relatively the same kind of transfer, but honestly, these two are hard to find. I would go with this one. It's really easy to find. It just came out. It does have a high price tag, but you know, you get bang for your buck. However, if you want to read those comic books, which are good, but not necessary. You can get these. They're harder to find, and they're not from the U.S. But if you are a hardcore Demons fan like I am, then track them down. The comic is worth the read. Alright, now that I've gone through what the Demon 3 official comic book is, and then also some of my very expensive Blu-ray releases, I'm just going to go through a brief rundown of what I would rank as the best and the worst of the Demon series. Now, this one came out of nowhere. I didn't expect it to be, but the more I think about it, the more I love it. Cemetery Man, I would put as number 1. Despite this being the last one in the Demon series, it probably didn't deserve the Demon's title in it and released in some alternate country, because this is a great movie that stands on its own as one of the best zombie movies I've ever seen. Highly recommend it if you can track it down. It is amazing. And then obviously I will follow that up with the original Demons, the one that made me want to do this review series, one of the best Italian horror movies I've ever seen. I love it. I can't recommend it enough, and I'm not going to really go into more depth than that because I shouted so much praise at it when I did my original review. I'm following that up with Demons 2, which I believe is a worthy follow-up to Demons, however not as good. It's clearly the lesser film, however it really keeps the same gory and gooey aesthetic, and it's a lot of fun. That's what I can say about these two Demons movies. They're a ton of fun. If you want to make a great trilogy, do Demons, Demons 2, and then throw in Cemetery Man to finish it off, because those are 3 great Italian horror movies that I can't recommend enough. Next up, in 4th place, I would put probably the movie that had like the best atmosphere and mood and just overall tone of any of the movies. It'll probably be The Church by Michele Soavi, because this is just something that I could see this being a Demon sequel. There were some things that kind of carried it over, and it was just a very dark and atmospheric movie that just draws you in with its aesthetic and just wants you to finish it. It is definitely one I recommend. A lot of stuff after this I probably wouldn't quite recommend, but this really is a hidden classic that I would not have found if I wasn't looking into the Demons movies as hard as I have been. So I recommend that you guys check it out, because it's well worth your time. Alright, so the next movie I wouldn't consider bad, but I wouldn't recommend tracking it down unless you really want to see a Italian horror movie that you know you haven't seen before. It's The Sect, also known as Demons 4. That was also by Michele Soavi. He puts out probably the best ones of the bunch. It was a very good movie, and it again had that same atmosphere, but it just was inferior to The Church. So, it has a similar vibe to The Church, but I don't think it quite hits the same marks. but it's definitely worth a watch if you want to, again, see an Italian horror movie you probably haven't seen. It hasn't been forgotten like some of the ones on this entry, but it hasn't really been given the treatment that the other ones have to keep it in the public eye. So maybe you want to track it down, but really from here on out, probably won't want to. Next up is The Black Cat, which was also known as Demon 6. I personally couldn't get into it, but however, the more I think about it, the more I think, like, okay, that was much more competent and pretty good atmosphere than I originally gave it credit for in my review. So it does kind of like stay with you longer. And again, the Lucio Fulci Black Cat movie that I accidentally watched, that I talked about in my review, I think more highly of it now the more I think about it. Again, I guess I wasn't in the right headspace at the time. However, I can't say that The Black Cat deserves to be any higher on this list. It is some shoddy effects in it. Some of the acting is not quite right. And there's just kind of like a convoluted plot going on that's not really a great movie. So track it down if you really want to see The Black Cat adapted in a movie that has nothing to do with The Black Cat. But otherwise, not really worth it. The Ogre, also known as Demon 3 The Ogre, the original Demon 3. It was that TV movie that I reviewed originally. It was alright. I would put that next on the list. It wasn't great by any means, but for a TV movie from back then, it was good. But is it worth a watch? Not really. I think I actually probably put more praise on it than it deserved, because it was really just kind of a cheap TV movie, and like it showed, and it had nothing to do with demons, so I can't recommend it. Next up is Dark Tower, which, again, I don't think is a great movie. It had really nothing to do with demons. It had nothing to do with anything to do with Italian cinema. It was released as Demons 7, I believe, and I couldn't get into it. There was the beginning, I think, started off well, but I think they made a lot of bad missteps along the way, and just the way they followed through is like what I thought would have been good twists. They kind of just played their hand too early, and I don't think it was a great movie. I really wanted to like it, but I couldn't. Then we got Lucio Fulci's Demonia, which is known as one of his worst movies, and it wasn't good. It had a lot of like unintentionally hilarious moments, but besides that, I just could not get into it. It wasn't too great. I want to say it's probably holding up a little better in my head than it did originally, but overall, it's just a lesser movie from a horror grade that not really worth tracking down. Alright, almost at the bottom of the barrel, guys. We got Black Demons, which is almost entirely forgettable. I can't remember much that happened in it besides a plantation where a bunch of zombie, I guess maybe demons, come out and attack the main characters. It had nothing special to it. The name is very problematic, and it's just not a great movie. You guys sleeping? Yeah, you are. You guys want me to cover you up? There we go, little piggies. Last but not least is what was known as Demons 5, The Mask of Satan. This was a burned-on-demand DVD-R of this movie, and you can watch the same quality picture on YouTube. Maybe that kind of hampered my liking of the movie because I couldn't really see what was going on. I don't think it was that good. I think it was actually a pretty bad movie overall. I could see what thoughts they had on display and what they were trying to go for, but overall, it was kind of just a very lukewarm movie. I can't recommend it enough if someone was like the killer witch, even though there was kind of a witch in The Black Cat. All these movies without demons was really getting to me. I can't recommend The Mask of Satan. I don't recommend tracking it down unless you're like a purist like me. It was just not a good movie. Alright, that brings us to the end of this review. I've ranked all the Demons movies. I talked about the comic books. I showed you some of my releases. I don't think there's anything else I need to do for the Demons. The only other thing of note is that there was an animated short film starring Bobby Roach, who played Tony the Pimp, called Tony the Pimp, that he helped produce. I don't know anything about it besides that, because I could not find it anywhere online. If someone happens to know anything about it, post a link to it in the comments, but I have no idea what that would entail. But the more Tony the Pimp, the better. That's all I can say. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed Year of the Demons, because from my view count, no one did, but that's okay. I'm going to be doing something different this coming year. We're going to be tackling Year of the Empire with my brother, Shane, and we're going to talk about all these Empire Picture films that predated the full moon. So think of this as Year of the Full Moon Part 2. And besides that, I hope everyone has a great New Year's. Hopefully I can get this movie out on time. It was a lot of fun doing all this demon stuff, and I recommend the first two Demons and Cemetery Man. If you're just a casual horror fan, those are must-sees. Have a great New Year's, guys, and see you for Year of the Empire.